wanted to ask you guys, right? Because both of you are two very different creators, right? You're also black, so you got the whole identity which you guys got to deal with online as well, and you have to handle
Mm.
that, right? And like you both said, it's like black creators and brown creators and just general people of color within the creator community, especially in Twitch streaming. As we had that last commercial that had nothing but like white people in it, and, like I think two black
That
people in
was
it. Terrible, right? There's no representation here.
incredibly good to me. I thought that was
And
very good of
Dr.
Twitch.
Lupo was the sign off for it too. It was like, okay, how do you?
Oh wait, are you talking about the
The one that was deleted.
Yeah, that there was like I think only
Okay,
two
I
black
went off
creators
on
in
that
there.
one.
Yeah,
Oh
it was
yeah,
like go ahead, Bijan.
I did see.
Oh
I saw.
no, what?
I remember seeing that on Twitter, and I was like, "Oh, that guy's fucking funny." But
I was so mad. I was so mad.
How do you guys
they
go ahead? Sorry.
unreleased video, just like the unreleased Crucible. Please continue.
And they said that
Okay.
they said that we're gonna make a new one too. It was like, oh, we're gonna like redo what we did. I'm like, how did you even think that was a good idea coming out of press? It made no sense. So go ahead, Brandon. Go ahead.
Well, they had just messed up in that same week, like
Oh,
on,
yes.
on Sunday. It was the LGBT one, and they wrote the G is for gamer, and then I was like, what is going on? And then like 3 days later, then it was that one. I was like, I hope somebody got fired because
So pretty much
it's like
God.
days apart.
Twitch hire
that
I am
set up.
Brandon to handle these kinds of issues, so you don't have to
They
deal
won't
with
pay me
these
enough,
checks.
though.
They won't pay you
will
enough.
not- They don't. They wouldn't pay me enough to do it.
They gotta also, nobody gets paid enough to talk up, like to tell white people not to fuck up.
They need
Like,
a vibe checker, bro.
Right? Right?
This is my experience personally, and it's just like every time, bro. It's just pay me the money. I'd rather not deal with it.
So the question I was answering before we went off on Twitch being a fucking idiot platform sometimes. By the way, we're all partnered here. Great. We're talking shit about
okay.
the.
It's okay.
Yeah,
Personally, I am
of
not.
course. Talk bad about your overlords. How do you guys handle, or not handle, or like, how do you recommend people, especially people of color, finding their voice online in these communities, especially like what's going on right now, where there's so much divisiveness. You have so much. Like I went on today on like Instagram, and I was scrolling through the photos. Like Jacob, stuff that happened to him recently. Like it was such an in between fight. Like why are we fighting about this? Like dude literally
he
got
was
shot 7
handcuffed
times in the back. Why are we fighting
He was-
about this?
Yeah.
He's handcuffed to his bed right now because that's how we live. I don't.
So it's like, like there's kind of like a mob online that would be like, yo, I'm going to go after like anybody as a person of color just because like there's these groups that are there that exist, and they create these divisive topics between like BLM and everything, etc. So I wanted to ask you guys, what do you guys think about that? And like, how do you think black creators should go about and people of color finding their voice online, especially in this like setting?
I feel like, first of all, with me personally, I feel like Black Lives Matter has been broken down so many different ways to the point where it's like, if you don't get it, you don't want to get it. And I'm not going to stay online and argue back and forth with you because you've already made your mind up before you commented on my tweet. You just want to fight and you just want to argue.
Yeah.
For me personally, I'm black. So, when you come to my stream, as much as I want to be happy and, bubbly all the time, especially with everything going on in the world, I can't do that for each and every stream. I have to be true to myself and be like, look, we're going to play a game, but before we play a game, I got to get this off my chest and let you guys know how I'm feeling because it's exhausting. I just came back from a, 2-week staycation because the internet and it's just so much to constantly take in every single day, seeing death on the timeline and
bro, you got to turn off auto playing videos. You got to turn that off.
There shouldn't be a point where we should be desensitized to seeing black people getting
Yeah.
shot.
God,
Yeah.
or
I
murdered.
straight up just don't watch that shit anymore because
Yeah,
I stopped in 2014 because it was dealing too much psychic damage. I was just like, I can't get out of bed. This is not
Yeah.
good.
It's depressing and it's exhausting, and to not only see that constantly, then to have people arguing with you about why he deserved to be X, Y, and Z. It's no, I can't. I can't do it. It's exhausting. Sorry, Brandon, you
No, you good.
No, that is correct. Yeah, no.
Okay.
uh
Like yeah, it's just been very. I'm sure we all have felt it. Like June happened, and it's just like I know I snapped. I remember the last straw where I was just like, because when it comes to I talk a lot on Twitter, but I've been very like, I wasn't speaking when I should have been. Mainly because I don't want to hear people talk. Because sometimes I don't care about people's opinions on what I say. Sometimes,
Yeah.
so it's just like, especially with certain things, it's like I don't want to hear you talk. But I had to be vocal when that stuff started to happen because it affects me, it affects my friends, it affects people I love. I'm not gonna be quiet about it. And if people who follow me have a problem with it, you can get out because I don't want you around me in my community, all that kind of stuff. And I felt that was needed because yes, there's white people who literally don't see this stuff happening, and it takes us to say something, but it shouldn't have to be on us because we're not causing the issue. We're not causing the problem. We're not,
Hello?
you know what I mean? And I even talked about this today. The fact that, this man was shot 7 times, and then people are like, oh, but he had a knife in his car. Okay, so what? What about, like, he wasn't even doing anything. And this white boy just walked in here, killed people, walked past the police, got all the way back home and turned himself in. And people are still like, well, I mean, what do you mean? What do you mean?
Yeah.
And try to act like they don't see the correlation. And it's
But let
all
us not
from that.
forget that he was cleaning up some graffiti before
and
he hurt these people. Don't forget about that part.
Oh my god! And then, they had the New York Posting. I saw that when they had the picture, like,
Yeah.
oh, he was cleaning graffiti. Okay, and he killed people.
Yeah.
What about it? What about it? Like,
The two things
I
are not
don't
related.
understand the correlation
So
of like.
Here's the thing that's gonna bother the shit out of me is when he gets acquitted or gets 5 years because he's a 17-year-old. They're gonna try him as a minor, and he's gonna get off, and it's going to it's gonna ruin my day. It's gonna ruin my week. It's gonna break me again. It's funny because I just this stuff has just been happening. It just keeps happening. Like America just doesn't stop. I mean, the pandemic is kind of nice because it's like this is a different thing to worry about. Which frankly, glad for it. Hey.
Yeah.
It's like hard to go outside, but like fuck, I don't have to worry about getting shot by the cops.
Noticing now stuff that they weren't paying attention to too.
Yeah, because they have more time. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know, it's one of these things that it's funny because like the other thing about like I think content creation is like a lot of Black creators are called to like talk about this stuff because for a lot of white viewers that's the only interaction, the only knowledge they're gonna get. And like I don't know, how do you guys deal with that burden? Because that's heavy.
See, like when it comes to me, like I know I have said this several times. I don't have any time to teach anybody who's ignorant. I have zero teachings. These are grown ass people who could turn on YouTube, like Google. I'm not a teacher of how to act right. But like if it's like if I choose to be on a live stream with other people of color to talk about it and you're listening, I'm cool with that. You're trying to learn and you're trying to grow from it. But if you're gonna come to me and have me explain to you what you should already know, I don't got time for it.
And then I feel like you have that group of people too that come to your channel knowing that you're a Black creator, but when you start talking about these issues that are affecting you, well, when are we gonna play the game? What do you mean? It's like, whatever her name was when she told LeBron to shut up and dribble. Like, what do you mean? How am I not
bounce the ball off her forehead?
Exactly. It's exhausting. We're not just here for your entertainment, and that's it.
I do feel like I have seen a shift because creators are being more vocal about the politics that's happening because like a lot of that's happening that's coming up in November is we have to talk about it and I guess it's nice to see non-Black folk talk about it and actually doing something about it, but then you definitely notice the people who are performative and then they disappear because everything's fine. It's not my timeline anymore, so I can just move on and keep doing it.
Yeah, big shout to Matthew McConaughey.
I don't have that privilege to do that. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, what did he do?
No, it wasn't McConaughey. It was the other guy. Who's that guy from Orange is the New Black who was like conspicuously woke for like a minute and we haven't heard from him since?
I don't watch that show.
Oh,
yeah, the people who capitalize on moments like this to just
for sure.
make their
What was his
statements.
name?
A lot of
Didn't a bunch of
actors do that
celebrities do
shit.
something too?
They go
Yeah,
from
they did
actors to
some-
activists, and it's just like for this one moment, and then it's like, hey, look at me, I'm a part of this, I'm an ally, and then out of nowhere, you're just like, hey man, where were you this month? Where were you the next month? Where were you? Why am I hearing from you anymore?
posting black squares on Instagram. It's fine. It's fine. They were doing it. They got it.
That
They understand.
that
They said,
that
"Whoo,
is
that's
what-
all the activism I could do. That's all
I'm done for today. I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah, you know, it was,
It's okay.
you know, back in
I did
June,
my
it was
work.
crazy because, you know, there were a bunch of
yeah,
creators
that's what I was
who,
gonna talk about.
you know, they didn't want to post because, especially, I mean, specifically Twitch streamers who were like, you know, people come to my Twitch stream for entertainment. And it's like, you know, there's already people talking about it and they felt they didn't have to talk about it, which is a very, like, interesting conversation because you had people who were clearly like, no, we need to fucking talk about it. And the other ones were just like, hands off because, you know, afraid of like whatever backlash they would get because, you know, the mixed viewership you may have. Because not one creator has one particular kind of viewership, especially streamers, because you have different types of people all the time.
And the interesting about that is when people are like, well, I don't want to talk about it. How do you not know? How do you know that you don't have like a black person in your audience?
Yeah.
You can't see any of these people's faces. So
Yeah,
if you're
'cause, like-
speaking on this, you are probably making them know that you support them and that you're actually caring. And like that's why we never got any of the, well, I'm not going to talk about it because I don't want to say anything about it. You don't know who that is behind the screen.
Exactly.
You don't know who it is. So that's why I've always been, I'm going to be vocal, obviously, about what's going on. And I'm not going to care if people don't like it or not. I'm sure there's a lot of people who unfollowed and left, and that I don't care.
Bye.
See you later.
Bye.
I'm still making money. I don't, see you later. I'm good.
My checks are still getting cashed.
I can't do it.
Look,
Yeah. It was
It's-
very interesting in June because we were dealing with the emotion of everything that was happening. And then all of a sudden people want to spotlight us and do all this stuff. And then I felt like I didn't deserve all the stuff that was going on because of people dying. Like you guys weren't paying attention. So now you guys want to pay attention to me.
Yeah.
It was just such a weird feeling going in June.
It's also strange because it's like the thing that's happening now is like corporations have made the calculation that it's like worse to be racist than to not be, and they keep doing this stuff where it's like, hey, we're gonna like showcase black creators at like Twitch, and then just don't. And it's like, well, we want to do the thing without having any of the people. How do we do that? How do we make that one happen? And I don't know. I can't imagine because like I'm sure people reach out to y'all about like you know doing like brand stuff or like I don't know activations or whatever. Like because like
I
remember like
Where were you before?
Exactly.
no, but seriously, I remember like this happened to me in like 2014 because like me and all of my black friends were like are writers, and it was just like, hey, can you write about the black experience? Like this happened. Like continue it. Like I'm dead at. There was an editor at Airbnb magazine that was just like, so like we want you to do a travel piece, and I was like, tight. I was like, tight. Let me pitch a travel piece. Like I want to go somewhere. And they kept shooting down my pitches, and then I finally got a phone call from the editor, and she was like, "So we want you to write about black stuff." And I was like, "It's 2017. I don't have time for this. Thank you." But like this is the thing that happens everywhere. But I think I feel like it must be particularly bad in gaming just because like of gaming's history. Like we're like 6 years out from Gamergate. That's not that long. Like it's like the industry is very reactionary, I think, as a whole. So I'm wondering how did y'all deal with June? Metaphorically speaking.
Honestly, I spent the most of June just being angry. It's super. I did. I was mad at just everyone. I'm not going to, you know, applaud people for doing the bare minimum. You posted a black square. What else are you going to do? You know, you have all of these gaming, not just gaming. You have all of these businesses posting these statements. Well, we stand with black people, and we hear you, and we're here for you. Okay, but what are you gonna do? What's going to come from this? You stand with black people. What does that mean?
And 2 months on, nothing has changed. Like,
Exactly. It's just, and again, even if you know there might be that one business or that one company that's never seen a black person before, and they finally want to, you know, hire some diversity on the staff, or let me, you know, put you in this one article for June because it's trending right now. I think it's more of a slap in the face that you're doing this just because it's trending at the moment. But you know, weeks and months down the line where, you know, the smoke starts to clear, so to speak, and it's all said and done, you're not going to do it again. That's a bigger slap in the face to me. Don't do it at all.
Oh God, yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
Like I said, definitely in June there was a lot of companies in my email talking about, oh, I want to work with you. Like, hey, how's it going? Where I had several different conversations with them and talked to them about, okay, so I know what this is, and I'm not gonna jump and be your to fill your black quota because of what's going on. if you're gonna have a conversation about this, like if you guys realize that you need to take accountability of you and your lack of having people of color apart, I need you guys to do just not me, other people, and continue doing it outside of June. It's not. I don't want to be the token person. I never want that to be me at all. And so after June, like, you know, every single opportunity that has come around, I've always been very straightforward. I'm like, okay, so we're gonna need to have some. If y'all want me, we need to have other people besides just like me in here.
This needs to be a campaign, not an ad.
You know? You know what I mean? And I have like turned down a lot of stuff that like they only were reaching out to me because of that. I've had conversations where it's like, oh yeah, like, you know, we were just kind of, you know, noticing that we don't really have a lot of people of color.
Bro.
I'm like, okay.
When they talk around it, it's worse.
It's
when they're like,
just be upfront with it, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Like, no, we want you to just be like, we just want you to like look a little like a slave for us, please.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
But I in like around June, July, I ended up signing with a management company, which because I needed it because I don't have time to do this stuff because I have I have a full-time job, so I can't like I gotta do stuff. But my manager, he's black. Like he knows all the stuff that we're dealing with, and that's one of the reasons why I made sure to sign with him because he wants to see us succeed and move forward, and he doesn't want like any person of color having to get like the bare minimum of like any pay or anything. And I just felt comfortable because like I'm like, you know what, we need to see change happen. Like like I know all this stuff happened with you know, we got the spotlight, but I hate how it happened. But the industry needed to change. Yeah. And then unfortunately the next month we saw all the sexual allegation stuff of everything that was happening. And then now it's kind of like on a normal thing, but we got to change this industry. It has not been, you haven't seen a lot of people of color in high places. I just talked about this the other day that like I remember a few years ago seeing Aisha Tyler hosting like a gaming event and being like, wow, I haven't ever seen a black person on screen like that. And that was a few years ago. And I couldn't even name, like, I think I've seen one other black person in a major gaming event like that, like E3, but we're not out there like that.
So question.
Yeah, I mean.
So question, Brandon, would you recommend to young black creators or just in creators in general to get a fucking manager that's black, like that can help navigate the landmine of all this right now? Because
I will say, yeah. Well, sorry, go ahead.
No, that was that was it.
Yeah, I'll say, especially from my experience, absolutely. Because I dealt with several different managements where it was, you know, white people who were managing me and they couldn't find me anything. They couldn't find me gigs or nothing. I felt like I wasn't marketable because they couldn't. But my white counterparts, I would be seeing them getting gigs, working, getting sponsored stuff, and me going to them saying, so I've been signed with you guys for this long. What's going on? Oh, we can't really find anything for you. Okay. Well, within the last 3 months, the guy I'm with now, I've been doing a bunch of stuff that I haven't ever done in my life. So I think it's important to have somebody who is black, but if you're working with somebody who's not black, have them understand what you're dealing with, because if that person doesn't understand what's happening right now, they're not going to understand why you won't be looked at by companies sometimes, which is most important.
Any insight from your story?
I agree. I've also been talking to someone from a management company who is also black too. And it's a different level of fight that they have for you to find opportunities, because it's like they already understand the struggle and they already get it. And to have someone on your team where it's like you don't have to break things down and educate them and spend all that time. It's like it's different, and it's I don't know. It makes me feel like a better creator because I feel understood and I feel heard.
Someone's really going to bat for you because they probably have dealt with that in their own career, right? Like them getting into the management business and managing talent, 100% probably dealt with some sort of bullshit like that. So they definitely relate and like know how to sell you, which is the most important part, right? Selling you to these companies, because these companies like, well, why should I invest in, you know, iamBrandon over Ninja? And then this person's like, well, let me tell you why you need to invest in iamBrandon over Ninja, because there's a million ninjas. You can find them anywhere. But you ain't find iamBrandon or Storymode just anywhere to go, right?